Japan doesn't just make food, it turns every single bite into an experience your country hasn't figured out yet. In Japan, certain cafes create fully custom 3D latte art carved directly into thick milk foam. You tell the barista what you want, an animal, a face, a character, and they carve it by hand using small tools, finishing every detail with thin lines of chocolate syrup. You receive a coffee that looks like a sculpture. Most countries are still drawing basic leaf patterns and calling it art. Japan is operating on a completely different level. Next, there is a dessert in Japan where you pour hot chocolate over a solid chocolate shell sitting on your plate. The moment the hot liquid hits the surface, the shell slowly melts away, and hidden underneath is a matcha treat that was sitting there the entire time waiting to be revealed. The whole experience takes about 30 seconds and it is genuinely satisfying every single time. Japan understood that dessert should be an event, not just something you eat. Also, Japan serves a matcha lava cake that combines two of the best things in the dessert world into one. The outside is a firm cake cylinder coated in a crunchy creme brulee glaze that cracks when you press a spoon through it. The inside is pure, thick matcha cream that flows out the moment you break the shell. Rich, cold, warm, crunchy, creamy, all at the same time. Your country has lava cake. Japan made it better. In Japan, pudding mochi exists, and once you try it, regular mochi feels unfinished. A miniature custard pudding is wrapped completely inside a soft layer of mochi rice cake. One bite gives you the creamy sweetness of pudding and the satisfying chew of mochi at exactly the same time. Two completely different textures in one small piece. Japan has been combining things the rest of the world keeps separate, and the results are always better. Next, Japan's marshmallow ice cream is exactly what it sounds like, and somehow even better than you're imagining. A cup is filled with premium ice cream and a generous layer of whipped cream. Then an oversized marshmallow, genuinely enormous, soft and jiggly, is placed on top. The contrast between the cold ice cream underneath and the soft, bouncy marshmallow on top is something that has to be experienced. And right now, only Japan is offering it. Also, in certain Tokyo restaurants, creme brulee is finished right at your table. The waiter arrives with your pudding and a container of boiling melted sugar. They pour it directly onto the surface of your dessert. In seconds, it hardens into a perfectly smooth glass-like crust. You tap it with your spoon and it cracks. The sound alone makes it worth ordering. Japan turned a dessert into a performance, and the audience is always satisfied. In Japan, there is a cafe where you paint your own dessert. You sit down and receive a completely white cake along with a small palette of edible food paints and a brush. You decorate it however you want, any design, any color, any pattern. Then, you eat it. Most countries give you a dessert that someone else already decided for you. Japan gives you one you made yourself. Next, a specialty cafe in Japan serves what they call a spirited away dessert. You pour fresh cold milk slowly over a black jelly mold sitting in your bowl. As the milk spreads across the surface, a hidden character face gradually appears underneath. It feels genuinely magical the first time you see it. Japan turned pouring milk into a moment of wonder. And finally, Japan sells a Ditto Pokemon jelly mold kit that lets you make your own edible Pokemon at home. You pour in your favorite juice, place it in the freezer, and a few hours later you have a jiggly, colorful, completely edible Ditto sitting on your plate. It wobbles when you touch it. Japan found a way to make fruit jelly exciting again, and somehow, nobody else thought of this first. Japan invented chocolate sushi, and it is exactly as genius as it sounds. Instead of rice, chefs use a mixture of crunchy katifi pastry and pistachio cream to form the base. On top sits a piece of premium chocolate shaped and presented exactly like a sushi slice. It looks identical to real sushi. It tastes nothing like it. Japan made dessert look savory, and it works perfectly. Next, Japan's rainbow croissants are one of the most visually stunning foods you will ever see. Multiple layers of differently colored dough are stacked, rolled, and baked together until each layer becomes crisp and distinct. When you cut one open, the inside reveals a swirl of colors filled with velvety smooth cream. They taste as good as they look, and they look extraordinary. Also, in Japan, ramen carts move through the streets and come directly to you. You don't go looking for them. You hear the cart, you flag it down, and the chef prepares your bowl completely fresh on the spot, right there on the street wherever you happen to be standing. Hot broth, fresh noodles, toppings added in front of your eyes. Japan brought the kitchen to the customer, and it works perfectly. The Wagyu sando is one of the most satisfying sandwiches ever created. Premium Wagyu beef is grilled to absolute perfection and stacked generously between two thick slices of soft Japanese milk bread. No complicated sauces, no excessive toppings, just incredible beef between incredible bread. Every bite is juicy, rich, and completely different from any sandwich you have ever eaten. Next, super cheesy torched takoyaki takes one of Japan's most beloved street foods and makes it even better. A fresh tray of takoyaki is completely smothered in Japanese mayonnaise and a generous layer of shredded cheese. Then a blowtorch is run across the entire tray until the cheese melts and turns a deep golden brown. The outside is crispy. The inside is soft. The cheese pulls apart with every bite. Also, Japan's strawberry matcha-soaked bread is something that sounds simple until you actually see it. Thick, fluffy bread is submerged in rich, concentrated matcha until completely saturated. Then topped with cold ice cream and a drizzle of chocolate sauce. The bread is warm and deeply flavored. The ice cream is cold and creamy. Japan turned bread into a full dessert experience. In Japan, taiyaki are fish-shaped waffles filled with egg, cheese, and ham, cooked until the outside is perfectly golden. You eat it from the tail up. It sounds strange. It looks adorable, and it tastes like the best combination of savory flavors you have ever had inside a waffle. Next, Japan's jiggly matcha cake barely holds itself together. The batter is baked until it just sets, and when the chef places it on the counter, the entire cake wobbles with every movement. It is soft, airy, and shakes when you breathe near it. Somehow, despite looking like it might fall apart, it holds together perfectly and tastes like the lightest, most delicate cake you have ever had. Also, Japan has parfaits inspired by devil fruits from One Piece. Each glass is filled with layers of vibrant tropical fruits, colorful sauces, and sweet cream, styled to look exactly like the legendary fruits from the show. For anyone who grew up watching One Piece, eating one of these feels surreal. Next, in Japan, you can find translucent mochi with real flower blossoms preserved inside the rice cake. The mochi is clear enough that you can see the delicate petals sitting perfectly in the center. It looks like a piece of jewelry. Japan made something edible that looks like it belongs in a display case. Also, Japan's rainbow snow cones can stretch up to 3 feet tall. The chef builds layer by layer, packing colored, flavored ice in sections until the entire structure towers above the bowl. It takes several minutes to build. It looks completely impossible. And then you eat it, and it tastes exactly as fun as it looks. And finally, Japan's chocolate strawberry crepes are the perfect way to end any food tour of this country. A deep chocolate crepe is filled with fresh whipped cream and ripe strawberries, then rolled into a cone. More cream piped on top. More strawberries placed carefully on the peak. A drizzle of chocolate sauce finishes everything. Simple, beautiful, and the kind of food that makes you stop walking and just enjoy the moment. In Japan, bear and chipmunk-shaped pancakes look almost too cute to eat. Chefs craft each one using special molds that give the batter a perfect animal face, served alongside rich hazelnut ice cream and fresh fruit. Before you take the first bite, you genuinely feel guilty about destroying something so carefully made. Next, Japan has a Shaun the Sheep-themed cafe designed specifically for people dining alone. Staff place a giant Shaun the Sheep plushie across the table from you and serve adorable themed meals so you never feel lonely. Japan turned solo dining into something warm and charming instead of uncomfortable. Also, local street stalls in Japan will transform melted candy into any custom design you want. Artists draw your request by hand using molten sugar, creating detailed edible art pieces right in front of you. You describe it, they make it, you eat it. Japan turns street food into a live art performance. And finally, Japan's massive strawberry cake is a dream for fruit lovers. Layers of soft sponge are packed with fresh strawberries and finished with a thick coat of whipped cream and a beautiful berry arrangement on top. It is generous, it is fresh, and it is the kind of cake that makes every other strawberry cake feel like it wasn't even trying. That is Japan's food scene. Not just meals, experiences. Not just flavors, moments. Your country has good food. Japan has food that makes you feel something. Which one of these would you try first? Tell us in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe. We bring you the best of Japan every single week. See you in the next one.